Hello and welcome to Lois and Morgana Davidson Art. It's Morgana here, and today I'll be demonstrating this simple moonlit winter landscape scene painted using the card swipe method. But first, if you enjoyed this painting demo, then I do have another which is also free to watch on YouTube on my personal painting channel, which is linked in the video description below. My channel has been dormant for a little while, but not any longer, as it's actually at risk of demonetization if I don't get some more views on it soon. So if anybody could do me a massive favour and follow the link below to my channel and give some of the new content there a quick watch, then I'd be incredibly grateful. Now, back to the video. I'm painting on cold pressed paper today, size 1/4 imperial, and I'm wetting the top 2/3 of the paper to form the sky wash just with clean water, and then I'm going to add a very nice simple wash just using indigo and a 2-inch flat brush. To build the landscape into the painting, I'm using the card swipe method today, which involves adding fresh tube paint onto the edge of an old store card and using this to gently swipe the paint across the paper. You want to use quite gentle horizontal movements and bear in mind not to press down too hard or scrape too hard with the edge of the card, as this can cause damage to the soft surface of the watercolor paper. I'm also using my spray bottle to soften down some of the harder lines here and to encourage some of the thicker paint to bloom out really nicely into the sky wash. To help this process out, you can actually pick up your painting board and tip it and tilt it around. Encourage that water to flow in the direction you want the paint to move into. I'm really happy with how this is all looking so far. The soft blooms of darker colour along the edge of the landscape, where that thicker paint has just begun to move up and into the sky wash, is exactly what I was hoping for, as I can turn those into some nice winter trees later on. But for now, I'm just making a few adjustments to this lower part of the wash using a couple of small brushes. I decided that this nice moody indigo sky would actually work great for a softly moonlit twilight scene, so I'm using the coin trick to stamp out a simple full moon. The trick is to wrap your small coin quite tightly in something absorbent like tissue or kitchen towel, then use it like a stamp, pressing into the paint while it's still wet to lift out a neat little circle. Remember that this will only work while the paint is still wet, so don't leave it too late to do this step, otherwise it just won't work. I'm also using a clean dry brush to move a little bit of the sky colour over the area I've lifted out to create some wispy clouds drifting over this full moon. Now finally for this stage, I'm going to add a sprinkle of fine table salt into the lower part of the painting to create a pattern of soft white blooms as it dries. Leave flat to fully dry, and once the painting had dried, I decided to pencil in these nice simple silhouettes of a flock of geese coming into land for the evening, which I think worked well against the simple sky and pale moon. But before I paint the geese, I'm just going to add a bit of detail here into the landscape. So To turn these paint blooms into a tangle of ragged winter hawthorn trees, I'm using a fine brush to very simply add a few loose lines over the top of the paint blooms, just to look like a tangle of twigs and branches. I'm using sepia paint for this, and the brush that I'm using here is my 1/4 inch dagger brush, which has a really nice fine point for this kind of work, but obviously use whichever brush you'll feel the most comfortable doing this sort of thing with, just as long as it has a nice fine point. I'm also just following this up by repeating very similar lines but in white gouache this time, as you can see here, just to add some nice frosty highlights. Of course, you don't have to use gouache, any nice opaque white watercolor paint or bleed-proof white would work too. Once you're happy with how your loose landscape looks, it's time to paint the geese. This can be done really nice and simply, just using a small round brush with a nice fine point and a little more sepia paint just to get those silhouettes the right shape. Finally, I'm finishing off this winter scene with a scattering of some more white gouache. And here is the finished painting. I really hope you like it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. Just a very quick reminder before you go to pop over to my second channel on YouTube by following the link below the video to watch this alternative winter painting demo that I'm also really fond of. Honestly, I'd really appreciate it if a few folks could just hop over there and give it a quick watch and let me know what you think. But that's all from me today, so I will wish you all a very wonderful week and, as usual, very happy painting.